Hello there. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's been a while. Yes, yes. I it's been hard. I had my sunglasses on before I took them off just before you came on. I thought, I can't show my full exhaustion. I'm quite tired. There's just been a lot of hecticness going on, and so it's been hard to, continue our discussions as often as I would have liked, but I'm here now, so take advantage of me. Take full and total advantage of me. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did say that that might be an interesting topic to talk about, this issue of um, in the environment and how all of these great powers in the world are so concerned with, maybe even obsessed with, cleaning up the environment in the world and creating a better world and environment for everyone. And I thought it was ironic because, to me, the environmental issues that the world um, is experiencing, um, right, these issues are numerous, obviously, from, fossil fuels and, yeah, I don't know, plastics in the ocean, etc. I mean, in the end, a lot of toxicness, a lot of toxicity in the world. And I thought it was ironic because these are the same powers, the same countries that were involved in the violation of human rights of so many human beings on the planet. They weren't cattle, they weren't fish, although all of existence is important and all of existence matters, but the total sort of ignoring of such a huge swath of humanity and the violations that occurred, not only to the 17 million undefended civilian workers between 1619 and 1865, whose human rights were so egregiously violated, whose labor rights were so egregiously violated, whose property rights were so egregiously violated, whose very humanity was taken away. They were literally despeciated from the species. I mean, it's like telling fish you're not fish, or telling lions you're not lions, or telling cats you're not cats, or ants you're not ants. I mean, you just completely despeciate these people by fiat, right? And then after, say, okay, fine, we've changed our mind. We're going to be good guys now. You can go. We owe you nothing, not even an explanation, not even an apology. And, these human beings have left behind, generations of their children, of their relatives, of their families, who have not yet received any closure from any of this, who still are bearing the ramifications, the remnants, the residual effects, the lingering effects of what occurred, and who suffer discrimination. And I mean, whether it's with law enforcement or any other context, I mean, just going to the doctor for a general checkup can be like a thing where, you're treated like you're a criminal just to come to the doctor to get a checkup, and so there is just all of this stuff. I feel is also environmental. I think that the environment is just a function of the internal, what's inside of human beings comes out into the world and pollutes the world. And if your insides are somehow polluted, whether it's because of your own actions or that of others that have been imposed on you, it's still pollution, it's still toxic, and it still has an impact on what comes out and what occurs in the world. It's not just, in my view, the the aggrieved people who have been violated or who continue to be violated, who have these internal environmental issues that need to be addressed. It's also the people who are imposing the toxic behaviors and the toxic cultures and the toxic laws and policies that also are impacted in the end. I think, like with the coronavirus, we see that all of humanity suffers and everybody is affected and nobody is spared the toxicity. And because I believe that, environmental issues begin within the human being, even more than other species, but also I think other species can be toxic and can behave in a toxic way, and perhaps that's all they know how to be. The difference with us is we know better, or at least we should know better, right? And because we should know better, I think we have a greater responsibility to do better. With these particular governments who, for the past 150 years, after they finally released these undefended civilian workers who had done absolutely nothing wrong, from a 244-year imprisonment for no reason at all, except that there were people in the private sector who wanted to exploit these people for their labor without paying them. They wanted to withhold 100% of their wages so that they can create capital and services and products and goods in the marketplace and create economies without having labor expenses. And they did this and got away with this because of the statutory and apparent authority of the government to basically violate some parts of our human family in this egregious way. And I think that, for the past 150 years, after the governments finally said, okay, we're going to stop now, it's been 244 years, you're free to go. But that's all that they've done, that they've not addressed the issue. They have not tried to restore these people and their families, if not to the status quo ante, the status quo ante being the moment before their labor and their human rights and their property rights and their humanity, their very species right to be in their species was taken away. That to me is moment zero. If you can't go all the way back to that status quo, then at least I think that the governments could have done a better job of trying to go as close to that as they possibly could. And they have made absolutely no effort to do that in a way that is authentic, in a way that shows real accountability, in a way that takes responsibility to create the kind of internal and external environment for all of humanity that they claim to want. I don't think that we can ever dare to think that we can clean up the earth, the environment of the earth, without first starting from within and starting to try to heal each other from within. And there's some members of the human race, especially and including these powerful governments and monarchies that I've been talking about in my book, who have I think a greater responsibility in this particular job, in that they have missed and omitted to do something important, which is to go back and to show remorse, to go back and try to make amends. Not so much to apologize, because again, I don't think people should apologize if it's not authentic, because it means nothing. But to at least uphold their moral and legal responsibilities to these 17 million undefended human beings, individuals, not a monolith, workers, people who were so egregiously violated for no reason other than, they couldn't defend themselves and they were not technologically developed, and, they didn't have beautiful cottages and beautiful clothes, when they were attacked. I mean, for me, they were living in environments that were so beautiful, actually. I mean, I can't imagine a better life than just walking around naked, with the sun on my boobs and, and my butt, and just with my lover, on the beach. I mean, what's better than that, And um, that's how they interpreted their humanity. That's how they interpreted their way of life and their time on the planet. And it's unfortunate that people who had interpreted their time on the planet in a different way, and that's fine too. I like cottages. I like, my beautiful little flat and things like that also. But it's a different way, and there's no right or wrong way. But the idea is that both these environments are just different interpretations by different human beings, and no one human being had the right to go in and impose their way on others in the way that it was done. And then, to have, now 400 years, go by without ever, having the sense of remorse or the bigness, to say, look, this was wrong, this was a mistake, and we need to make amends for it. And I do think, yes, that it comes down to an environmental issue. It's part of the toxicity that permeates the world. And I wish these powerful governments would wake up and realize that, and move to do something about it.